Hey everybody, John Duncan coming to you on day 3 of the lockdown education, figuring out what's going on with the economy in this economic shutdown. And today I wanted to talk about something that anyone that owns a business or is in business really needs to take a lesson from what's going on with this economic shutdown. And that's that you got to get, once you build a business up, you need to get a lot of the money outside of the business that you consider personal savings or personal, like retirement accounts and so forth. What do I mean by that? Well, 92%, the last survey, information I found, 92% of small to mid-sized business owners have the majority of their personal net worth inside the business. And that makes sense because they start a business, they start growing it, it starts doing well, they pour more money back into it. And the bottom line is that this coronavirus economic shutdown, it's a horrible thing. I understand that. And it seems worse sometimes by the day, but there's also lessons to be learned and extracted. And that's what I want to focus on. And just a key point of all business, like when business switches from ownership from one to another, or it shuts down altogether, did you know that 50% of the time it is not voluntary to the owner? And we always think, well, business might just not be good, or, something that we're in control of changed. That's not always the case. And I pulled out a little thing that I walk with clients a lot of times we talk about is the 5 Ds: death, disability, divorce, distress, and or disagreement are the other 50%. And you could add to that economic shutdown. What the economic shutdown or this virus, this black swan event has made all of us see is that, hey, we're vulnerable, not just in our industry, we're vulnerable as humans. Sometimes I think we get so technologically advanced and kind of beyond thinking that we almost feel invincible. And maybe we're leading in our industry and just killing it. That's great. But things like what just has happened remind us all that, hey, we're human and we're vulnerable. And that's why I say it's exposed a lot of things, even if it only lasts for a little bit or if it lasts for the rest of the year. I mean, who knows where we're going with this? We'd like to think that, by summer, we're in good shape. Nobody knows. My point is what I'm doing these dailies for is to share some things I've learned financially. And one is build and then start getting money into other assets as quickly as possible. Don't put everything right back into the business. And second way to think about it as well, some of the smartest clients I've ever worked with as well, they build a business to a certain size and they immediately start pivoting to find other assets or business adventures that they can get involved with so that they're not, again, having everything that they've built all tied up in a business that through their own fault or no fault of their own, or maybe nothing to do with their business at all, a shutdown could take it away. So, following up on that, again, this is what I'm looking at over to the side. I love this report. It's from BNY Mellon, and it's a survey. This was actually based on San Diego, but I mean, it's very similar to a lot of other cities that have done this survey of business owners. And, one of the main things that we can think of in this day and age, especially with this economic shutdown, is do we have a disaster plan? And a lot of business owners, well, yeah, we kind of got a plan on that. Is it written? Does anybody besides the top people know about the plan? Maybe some people that aren't even part of the company that could help salvage things in a bad situation. So very, very, very few companies ever actually have a plan, a disaster plan, or an economic shutdown plan. Again, the event we're in right now, this is a great opportunity to stop for a minute, pause, and put in some thought behind different things that maybe as you were running and gunning, you didn't really have time to do. So have a written disaster plan. And when you have one, don't just rely on just writing out on a yellow pad. I'm talking about get expert opinion and so forth and actually craft something meaningful. That's just a thought off of what's going on with the coronavirus situation. Now, enough on that right now. I'm going to switch gears and talk about some of the opportunities that are presenting themselves. And again, this is just to show what, there's a good and a bad to this whole situation. And here you've got Carnival, which was making $71 million per week until this hit. 71 million a week. And then this hit, and obviously, cruises down to nothing at this point. You've got a 1-year target on this of 36.91. It's at 8.80 today. It was down 33% today. Let's go back 6 months. Look back 6 months. I mean, you're talking 51, 52 almost in January. These are some of the buys that are popping up out there. You can see even on the after hours trading that it's already increasing a little bit. But you've also got this going on with Royal Caribbean, Norwegian. Point being, once this is behind us, there's a great opportunity that these companies will, people will continue on cruising. It may not be even this year, but in the near future. What I thought was interesting in looking at Carnival is they raised $17 billion. Now, they had to offer 12% to get that, but that's to give them the cash flow they need to get through this crisis. They expected, I believe it was $1 billion a month of cash that they needed just to survive. Well, they attracted that. And again, one of the reasons that they're down as hard as they are is that the government in this last stimulus package said that they were not going to backstop the cruise industry. That's yet to be seen in future stimulus if this continues on and on. However, point being, there's buys like this going on. This is starting to look like 2008, 2009. I'm not saying jump in it full-fledged. I'm saying this is what's going on. By the way, if you go back to that, I'm going to go back real quick to the Carnival. They raised through bonds $17 billion. I mean, obviously the owners, there's some large holders that own large positions within Carnival. They could have went to their own private money to fund a lot of this to keep going, but they did not. Again, it goes back to my lesson that you need to take from today. The tendency is to go get your own money in this situation and pile it into your business. And you can do that all the way to bankruptcy. It happens. It happens every day. And now with coronavirus, it is exposing the fact that we're all, like every company's vulnerable. Even the Amazons of the world, if this goes on and on and on, it'll get a rise for a minute, then it might not get any because you might not have any employees willing to work anymore. It's a once in a lifetime type of event, hopefully. And again, I'm just trying to share lessons that even in good times should be in place. So the three pieces of today: number one, make sure you're taking a good amount of personal of your business's success and pushing it into personal wealth, getting it away from your business. Number two, build it to a certain point and start pivoting to other asset classes, such as other business interest or real estate or multiple other different places that are not correlated with your own primary business. And the final piece was number three: coronavirus, the economic shutdown, has shown how vulnerable we all are as businesses. And we need to give some serious thought to having a written disaster plan. Why? Because 50% of all business exits are not voluntary. So with that, I hope you're well. Keep washing your hands, and we will get through this. This is John Duncan. I'll talk to you soon.